Now, so we have to chase all the police out of the township. Police houses were banned. Families were chased out of the township. Angazi bahamba and they got a refugee somewhere outside the township, where they were protected in the barracks zamaphoyisa. I happened to be involved practically in banning of izinto zamaphoyisa. I was arrested and tortured and also sentenced to 6 years imprisonment. You are trapped every day. There's torture involved there. If ngasukuma ngakhumula manje ngikubonisa emuva, I still have those scars zeimvubu, zeinsimbi of being banned emuva. I was the prime target yamabhunu at that time. My home, my parents' home was bombed by the apartheid government. That thing prompted me to skip the country and I went to exile. I was 15. Sanibona. Igama nguDakhile Chuta, popularly known as Apollo. That's my nickname. Igama engikhula ngalo, ngikhulele eVosloorus, ngizalelwe eVosloorus, ngashada eVosloorus, ngakhe eVosloorus, ngaba nabantwana eVosloorus. So life yami revolve around eVosloorus. Nickname ka Apollo, it's igama engalithola ngaliphiwa ugogo. Ugogo zalo ubaba wami. If you can recall, in 1969, Neil Armstrong from the USA, the first man. So they claim with the first man, we moon, Neil Armstrong. It was 1969. But we've got a different information about that. But nevertheless, it's a story for another day. So in 1969, that it was called the Apollo 11. So that gamma Apollo 16, Apollo what, Apollo 11, but they are 69 specifically Apollo 11. So abogogo nabantu abadala we excited ngale nto le. So mina ngizalwa 1970. Isesekhona le vibe yaka Apollo 11. So I was nicknamed Apollo because of that. Mangayiqala kanje. I was born during the era vibe about 1970s struggle. So in 1976, I was doing my first grade. NEB's grade 1 now. It's called sub A. So the riots of 1976 caught me in the first class yam eskolweni. I was six years at that time. Schools were disrupted, things were banned, buses were banned. But at that time, we could not understand because fast forward, after 1976, it did not stop there in 1976. It continued. That uprising, Yama students during 1976 continued until school. School and but we're too young and very young to can participate in that. And with more when you ask about this, your parents will say, uzofela jail wena. Oh Mandela baphelele jail. Now uzofela jail. Ungalinge nje uyenze lento le. Mina ke at that time my father was a policeman. Honestly, the person who introduced me kwinto yomzabalazo is my father. Indirectly, because my father was this person he was a policeman, le apartheid at that time, but he did not like what was happening during that time. And as a result of that, in 1979, he resigned as a policeman because elusana nalento bebathumela yona ukuthi babulala abantwana or benze whatever against the uprisings. So that thing inspired me. And my father was someone othanda ukufunda. He was very much used to ukufunda newspaper. newspaper or ama-news. Ekhaya besawuthi masingena kudlala ama-news, everybody shut up, sihlala sibukela ama-news yamamele. So my father wanted to know everything about the environment aphila kuyo nama-political situations. So that in that manner, ngaba introduced to knowing ama-politics. Of course, ama-politics wethu nama-politics wangaphandle. And that thing inspired me ukuthi ngibe curious ukuthi ngazi ukuthi ngifuna ukwazi ukuthi kwenzakalani. At that time, organizations like abo-ANC were banned. Bebengekho, bengaexisti. But there were other sub-organizations that were opened elokishini, such as student organization, Abo COSAS, and South African Student Congress. I will say those organizations managed to keep the fire burning for the ANC. But the most active organizations at that time, which were not banned, was AZAPO, Azanian People's Organization, which was very popular at that time because of its black consciousness ideology. So we were left with no choice but to get a political home which was existing and next to us at that particular moment. So most of us became members of the Black Consciousness Movement. I was part of that, but I was very young to can understand almost everything about it different between Black Consciousness Movement and Nama Nationalist, which was the ANC. Fast forward, after my primary education, I went to high school, which was Ilinge High School. That was 1984. If people can think and remember, in 1984, that was when another student uprising erupted, which was against age limit. Age limit, there was a law that will prevent you to continue with the scholar once you are in a certain age. So once you reach our age about 18, 19, baby keep a student because so mdala at that time. So students revolted against that. That also inspired and instigated us to gijime much. Remember at that time, I'm almost 14 years. Then I can see things again. Participated in whatever student activities. But then I was a full member of the Congress of South African Students, which is the COSAS. Around here, we had another student organization, MSAB's, which is a Katora's Student Congress, so which was the affiliate to COSAS at that time. During that time, the country was ungovernable. Our townships were ungovernable. Police could not control anything. So as a result, there was a campaign to evict, or I can't say evict, but to close amapoisa in our townships, which emanated to into which even their kids were affected at school when they had to be moved. Most of us participated in that. And the police, SAPS, then it was SAP, were the enemy of the people because Bebe collaborator in the apartheid government at that time. So if you are an SAPS member, it means you are protecting the apartheid. So anybody who fights against apartheid becomes your enemy. So what happened is that now, so we have to chase all the police out of the township. Police houses were banned, families were chased out of the township, and as Bahamba, and they got a refugee somewhere outside the township, where they were protected in the barracks as Amapois. During that time, I happened to be involved practically in banning of Izinto Zamapois. And unfortunately, I was arrested. I was arrested and tortured and also sentenced to 6 years imprisonment. After my sentence, while I was in incarceration, we launched an appeal against my sentence. It was not me alone, actually. We were about 9 who were sentenced. We all lodged the appeal. Fortunately, the appeal gave us a bail. We came out. When we were out of jail, at that time, Makhanda Sashis, we continued. We continued to fight. Remember, Tina, singaphandling a bail, appeal, anything can happen to us. But we did not care because we wanted what we wanted. As a result of that, I was the prime target, Yama Pune at that time. My home, my parents' home was bombed by the apartheid government. I was missed several times. That thing prompted me to skip the country, and I went to exile. I'm out of appeal. Within 2 months' time, appeal, then I skipped the country. I think it was 1986 at that time.
Are you able to share in terms of indaba ze-torture ukuthi kwayenzakalani? How exactly did it happen? And affect kanjani maybe?
You know, the apartheid government and the police were merciless. They did not care whether umntwana or umuntu omdala. As long as you participate in political activities, to them you are an enemy. So they will come into your house, break all the windows, break the doors, break the fence. If furniture pugayo, it will be broken. They will take you with or without the permission yabazali bakho, whether bolele naked or bolele ugcokile, they will take you as you are into the cells. Remember, mawuphuma nje endlini isibhaqo siyaqala. It's shambox all the way.
The age, what age maybe around this time?
I was 15. I was 15 years. Remember, I started to participate at the age of 14. So 15, that's when I started to experience ukuboshwa amaphoyisa. Actually, before I was even sentenced to 6 years, I was once arrested, kept for about 2 months without trial, detention, they called it detention without a trial. And during that 2 months, Ohleli, you are trapped every day. There's torture involved there. If ngasukuma ngakhumula manje ngikubonisa emuva, I still have those scars. Zeimvubu, zeinsimbi of being bent emuva. I don't know where the photos are, but I used to have the photos. But unfortunately, when amaphoyisa figure, every time they come, they will take all these things as the evidence ukuthi bebenza into wrong. So the torture was horrible. The torture, torture umuntu or maybe twice your body or twice your age, but with no mercy. Amabhunu were cruel. Amabhunu were cruel to an extent that they will even lock you in a cell alone, naked. Every morning they will come, spray you with amanzi, and leave you there. In an isolation cell. I spent more than 30 days in isolation before I was arrested for the second time. Langa sentence was gone. So, repression, the torture, amabhunu had no age. Whether bathola umuntu omdala ona 65 years, ongakwazi ukuzihambela, they will torture. Remember, mabangena endlini, abangeni ngokuthi koko sanibonani sine warrant of arrest, sizo-arrest uzibanibani. Wena ovula umnyango uqala, if uvula ubaba wakho umnyango uqala uthola isibhaqo yena kuqala. If umama wakho uyavuka naye uyalandela ngesibhaqa until bathole lo muntu abamfunayo. If abakutholi wena awukho, wazi ukuthi abazali bakho ifamily yakho isendleni because izothola isibhaqo kwayona. At the time bavela bayithathe yonke lo female bathi ndimfonela ukuthi heze ifakezanga la police station nana niphume. So those were incidents bezenzeka kwamanye ama families and stuff like that. So that the level of torture beda, you will be in a cell. Any detective or any policeman ofuna uku-interrogate uyakulanda thola ukuthi per day mhlawumbe interrogate abantu abayi-4 or 5, all of them bazokubhaqula. Uzofaka iplastic la ekhanda elikuvalile ukuthi ungakwazi ukubreathe, thola ama-punches, ushawa ngama-donkey pill, ufakwe imvubu and all of that. At that time we're naked. So those were the type of tortures bozithola u-undergo zona. With black policemen, I think for them bogumsebenzi. No, number one. Number two, for them fear yoguti, if they don't do that, then what? But with white officers, they were enjoying it. White people enjoyed suffering yomtom nyama like nobody's business during that time. Even a young white boy age army knew ukuthi a black person is subhuman. That was the level. So white people enjoyed whatever that was happening. And they were using black officers to do that if bona beko interested. But most of the time they will be practically doing that, bona laba mhlophe, because they were the ones who are instigating yonke situation. Even when you are going, if uyalandwa, for example, if it's only a black policeman, so undermine. But when by involve 2, 3, 4, 5 policemen, then it even dignity, even the level, torture yenziwayo iba high, because even the white officers want to impress their bosses. They can do the job. I remember kunento abayibiza ukuthi peer pressure empilweni mawukhula. At the age of 14, 15, 16, 17. Mina my peer pressure was umzabalazo. I was so much in love with taking out Amabu. I had so much hatred for a system besiphila kuyo. It became my hobby, it became my way of life, it became my style. When other children bebengenwa adolescent stage sokujola, sokuphuza, sokwenzani, mine participate emzabalazweni with all my heart. So going to exile, it was a mix of two things. Which I'm going to further what I have started and finish it. Number two was Guti. There was this thing, Guti, I'm leaving my family behind. I am leaving the place that I love so much in South Africa behind. And I don't even know what will happen Langiyakon. It's like going to a dark place, ongas no guti light kono mayiko. So us going to exile was like us being thrown into a big hole and an annex. We knew nothing about the exile. We knew nothing about the training that was going on. Besizwa nje ama-rumors, kukhona MK, kukhona ANC, kune PAC, kunama guerrilla, but we wanted to be lawo ma-guerrilla lawo. We wanted to be part and parcel of those guerrillas who were participating in overthrowing the apartheid government. So that's what inspired me.
So the feeling was ukuthi maybe there's certain abangani maybe, because multi peer pressure it's a situation ukuthi people who are your age, age basically around what time?
16 years.
We're around 16 years. So more or less abangani.
Between 15 and 16.
So more or less abangani around that age group. Ebohamba nabo maybe.
Absolutely.
Okay. And then our parents maybe, did you say I'm going? Or was it a case of you just decided? Because I can understand, as you singahlangana sithi hey uziyawa kuphi kuphi siya decide siyaphuma sonke siya, but manje la ngikhuluma ngokuphuma e-country.
What an interesting question. Yazi ungikhumbuza enye into. You know, there's been that vibe yokuthi ngifuna ukuphuma nge-exile, ngifuna ukuyoba yi-soldier amongst us as a peer group, you understand? But now we'll sit and plan ukuthi because if kuma plans wethu one of the things besikhuluma ukuthi esifuna ukuvaya sibaningi. I think abantu befuna ukuvaya were more than 20, but when the day come ukuthi sihambe, I'm telling you baba bokuchechelwa mrawo. Sokuqala ke manje i-old lami, hey mina esikolweni, hey mina ini, but eventually the group that took a firm decision with siyahamba, red or blue, siyahamba. Ngaba khona basala abanye. Well, you can't say bukamagwala. I don't want to say that, but you know, kunama decisions sasiwathatha si-emotional masesabantwana, and uma sifika leso sikhathi reality fika, kunabachechela mrawo. Ifana nokuthi masisuka la sizabalaza silanda target. Mase siqeda ukuyisha i-target sokufunwa abantu, if mhlambi kuboshwe mina kuqala and angina resistant, ngizoba khuluma ukuthi abobani abayenzile futhi benginabo bani. So it's the same thing, but there's that feeling of anxiety eningi, yabo, ukuthi you don't know ukuthi la uyakhona kwenzakalani. You hear stories ukuthi hey uzophatha AK lapha yana, uzophatha umratata, uzobuya sodubula amabhunu, but you don't know exactly ukuthi kwenzakalani. But to answer your question is that everything was concealed. It was a secret. Nobody has to tell anybody. You can't tell your parents. You can't tell anyone. Only the people who hamba nabo must know what we hamba. Even the organization, of course, us did not know what it's hamba. But it was a group of us within the organization who conspired. Sahlala sisotha majoda siyavaya thina. For example, thina sithema sesihamba kule group esihamba nayo. To my surprise, kunabantu ngazange siplane nabo lento le. And love explain nabo bona zange bahambe. And it was difficult for us ukuthi sibajikise. Mina, the people I left with, it was a umngani wami, masifika phambili sithole ukuthi kune younger brother yakhe. And now you see in the family so we double edge. So sebeshayeka ukuhambe lo mdala kwahamba nalo mncane futhi. And we can't take him back. By the time simbuyisele emuva seke categorized as a terrorist in South Africa. Makafika uzoboshwa, uzoya ku trial, anything can happen to. So we can't risk that. So we had to sacrifice sihambe naye.
Hey, so our reportanga kubazali.
No.
In your mind bullshit ukuthi bazofind out kanjani maybe. Or cause angithi ngathuka ukuthi maybe umntanami bamkidnapile uthathwa amaphoyisa seka disappearile, because you heard istories njalo at some point ukuthi there are people who disappearile and they never found them again. So I'm trying to understand ukuthi in your heart and in your mind bocabangani maybe asithi ukuphi sebhasini or setrainini masenihamba
sisetaxini
etaxini. So kuleyo taxi leyo uyabona na South Africa kancane uyishiya emuva
yazi besimfihliziyo nje besife intli amabhunu will suppress you to an extent ukuthi i-hatred onayo kubo awufeel any other thing other than hatred onayo amabhunweni. At that time, even if bokuthiwa ubaba wami usebenza namabhunu bengambulala because of i-level hatred benginayo amabhunweni, and then nenhliziyo yami the way beyife ngakhona towards a situation beyenzakala. I'll tell you of stories where families were killing each other because of differences politically. But we'll go there in a isikhathi. But what I'm trying to say, the way we were so committed, we didn't even think we only think, the only thing that we feel on where we are going to arm ourselves to come and liberate them. That is a temporary thing. But the main important thing is to achieve the goal, and the goal is to liberate them.
Okay.
That's what was motivating.
All right. So that first day, take us with you. What do you remember happened on that day? Did you include in a country? Maybe if you can include the country corner, learning to look on or a destination. No good see the things that happened on the way there. What was the, because I can understand your motivator, but at the same time as youth somehow, some way, Uguti Tata this big step. but just nje on the trip masingahamba nje nge-trip first day niyangena lapho e-transportini and then
first day excitement. Everybody is excited. Siyahamba manje. Hayi, madoda siyahamba siyishiya le country. Siyoba amagerilla manje. Wonke umuntu excited. First day, wonke umuntu excited. But izoshona ilanga. Malishona ilanga ngithi ulelo yi-1. Siyabuya lezi zinto uyacabanga manje ngishiya abazali. La ngiyakhona ngazi kwenzakalani. Awunayo nemali that time.
ulele kuphi ku-transport?
No. The transport, we left here to Vereeniging, from Vereeniging straight to Lesotho. So the first night she spent there with Lesotho border, crossing the border. That was the first challenge, which was very surprising to me. But we had, not that Tina decided to say, there were people who were responsible for us, taking us from point A to point B. So wherever we were going, we were expected to Sofia. So it was not a question of we did not know but the people who were responsible for that trip knew what must start my destination. So as a result, you'll go wherever a safe house. You'll be expected. Then the security corner lab. So we left here to Lesotho. Then Lesotho, we went to the safe house and we were safe in Maseru.
Labe by organizile, were they organized? Was it a certain structure of some sort, or were you getting introduced to a certain structure of some sort at the time? Because I see maybe manje, I'm just calling a youth movement, but manje there's the main movement, which is Umkhonto Wesizwe. If that was the structure that was organizing everything, I'm trying to get a sense yokuthi who ubani organize ukuthi nikhona ukumuva and who's paying for the transportation.
Let me put it to the picture. During that time, there was a campaign by the ANC in exile and the PAC together to recruit as much youth as possible from the country to join the forces in exile in order to train the youth and come back. So we were caught up in that during that situation where there were structures existing, underground structures, which we did not know existing. To my surprise, one of the members of the structure was a Grootman Benyaze Lokshini. I cannot reveal this like, but Bogi Grootman in Kula Panzwayo, Nyazga Kule Lokshini, but Ngayaz would involve full structures. The way these things were so concealed, you know, ni realize ngelanga lam lokham ukuthi kanti this Grootman all along involved in recruiting abantu to go and train outside. Yena bokumuntu bekesebenzela avuke kusena sebenza kuyiGrootman nje thandekayo live location, but not even one day have I thought ukuthi le Grootman le i-participator entweni ezifana nalezi. There were missions that were carried out by ama-guerrilla within the country with involvement of Grootman, but I did not know the way this thing was so organized, structured, and the way discipline being upon. So Tina, we only remember Tina say youth is papalazo. We did not have a direction. That is why peer pressure yamina was umzabalazo. So during this peer pressure, adolescent stage and stuff like that, that was when I was busy ngento zomzabalazo. Mabagijima abantombazana mithi amajita ejole enzani bengajoli mina. Mina into benyenza bengigijimise umzabalazo. So that was the time engatholakala ngayo kwinto yokuthi ngisengizithole senya exile. So this was very organized. Like I said, we left South Africa to Lesotho without any disruption. Mangiti taxi, I mean, I don't know whether the driver with taxi knew what to go, but Tina Skibele as Abantaba Kibela it takes a ranking. You start a speculate destination. But thinking of it, that guy knew what was happening. Because last sasala kora zang sasala ranking sasala towards the border Lesotho, which was a fixed back, and from there we walked distance nyana into the borders across the border sangene Lesotho. So it was a well organized mission. Man, they must figure nga Lesotho there was a motor already based deal. So Sakibela corner, then we went to the safe house. So it was a highly organized mission.
Okay, so There's males and females.
In my group, we're only males. But the general recruitment involves all the sex.
Okay. I find this very interesting because at a certain age group, for young males, you are human and nature calls. So around that age group is a time where say discover the opposite sex, which is the female. So hearing ukuthi there were females around, and obviously you're human beings. There would be cases where maybe an emotional connection is needed, perhaps. From obviously, there's that frustration and then there and a sense of home, maybe as much as there are other males around and then motivator. But at some point, I'm assuming if there's females around, judging by their nature, at some point they do want to be emotional or be taken care of or protected in some sort of way or given some sort of reassurance from a male figure. How was it? It's not a formal interview. It's just finding out how things were. We're just trying to get the temperature and how was it exactly? As much as we are all human. I'm assuming. Firstly, can you get from what age? And then in terms of Kudume Street, how was it for you with respect?
I'll give you a scenario outside umzabalazo. I bengijola. Bengina intombi. But that was not into being controller at that time. Intombi zami bezizicomplain ukuthi wena unasikhathi sethu nesikhathi salomzabalazo we. So if nature calls bengizenza into ezenziwa any other normal young boy, I used bengijola vele. And ngihambe ngashinta intombi yami ebengithanda kakhulu ngazange ngayitshela ukuthi nyapi nganyamalala and ngabuya ngayithola ngilindile. So she says ukuthi beke ngilindile but saqhubeka la sagcina khona. But what I'm trying to say ukuthi izinto zobuntwana ngizenzile. But over and above that, into edominate izinto zami zobuntwana bekumzabalazo. Njolile, even the people participate nabo emzabalazweni besijola sonke. But now the thing is, within the cycle yomzabalazo, kudominator abafana. Within the cycle yomzabalazo, if there are 100 boys, there will only be maybe 5 females. So females were not participating that much emzabalazweni, to be honest. And the Tina, amantombazana, they were saba because they thought seraf. They thought sinengqondo seraf general because everything esiyithashayo thina meliphuke. So it was leyo ntombazana ezoba nesibindi sokuzwana nami. But besides amantombazana amahle nalawa lawa aplanele emakubo hayi bowengazingeni indaba zethu bobona kahle ukuthi lapha ya hayi ngizwana noSathane nje ngimfuni. So thina amantombazana bowengasithandi lawo mahle besithandwe lamantombazana aselective as-understandayo ukuthi thina sabantu abanjani, even though bangaparticipate bona but besithandwe lawo mantombazana. And then uthole within our midst ke if samajita kunamantombazana ayi-3-4 lawo mantombazana ayi-3-4 azoba nama-2 1 2 3 khona lapha egroupini. But the majority yabantu beparticipate emzabalazweni at that time bukwamajita more than amantombazana. So that is before ngicrossa nye-exile. As a result, yabona njengoba ngitshela ngithi egroupini yethu were all males. All males we were 10. All males. You understand? So it shows you with abantu were participating in Mzabalazana at that time. Fast forward, going to Lesotho. We arrive in a place called the Maseru. In Maseru, there's a township called Isi Point. A safe house yethu. But in Lesotho, there's a rule yokuthi any person who skips a country into Lesotho must report to the police station and acquire a status of a refugee. so that United Nations takes over and take you wherever la kumele ukuthi uye khona. Remember, we are not yet guerrillas. We're not trained yet. We're still refugees. We ran away as political refugees from our country. So the law says, the UN law says, whenever you go into any country because of political reasons, you've got to acquire my refugee status. So you must go through in Ndawazama police station. We went, the following day, I think we went to the police station, register ourselves, but organized. Sambiswa yiwo labantu laba, which abanye baba angibazi nokubazi namhlanje ukuthi awubani. We went, and then we went back to the safe house. But now the problem became immediately the second day after sesifikile Lesotho, the safe house that we were in was attacked by SADF. Was attacked by South African Defence Force by bomb. Fortunately for us, we were out. We were taken out to a town to buy some things. On our way out, I think in 30 minutes or an hour after Sespumile, the house was attacked. Sasinda kanjalo. So we were not going to go back to that safe house anymore because it means cover it to say blowegile. We don't know whether it's those police figure reporter or whatever. Now we were taken to a United Nations refugee camp. We went there. There's a United Nations refugee camp within Maseru, but that camp was highly secured because that was a United Nations property. There is no government that can go in there and attack because that will be a transgression of the international law. So we're safe there until our departure to the next destiny, which was Swaziland. We went to Swaziland. Actually, we were going to Zimbabwe, but we had to go via Swaziland. Our plane went to Swaziland. From Swaziland, Azang started even 2 hours at Swaziland and went straight to Zimbabwe. In Zimbabwe, we spent a day, and then we went to Zambia, Lusaka. We went to a camp called Charleston. Charleston, they call it a transition camp, ANC, where they vet you, they check everything about you, check utawuthunyelwa ngabelungu, or was they genuinely interrogate you and all that. Then after they are satisfied about you, you take a decision. Would you want to go to the military camp or you want to go to school? So most of us were encouraged to go to school because we were still young and the Mashi country were doing relatively well at school. Because now I was doing e-matric. No, almost all of us were doing matric except for the one boy that I told you who was a brother to my friend, who was younger than us. So we had the potential we can go to school and then probably train later. But we had that thing in mind, as a skipping country to go to school. It's called in South Africa. We want to take up arms and go back to South Africa and fight. They tried to convince us in whatever way, but none of us within that group of women agreed to go to school. We all went to the camps. And the camps are in Angola. So we stayed in Zambia for, I think, 2 months. In that 2 months, you are prepared, you are trained, prepared to, we are in that military camp. Those who opted to go to school, who were from other groups, because remember, the place that we're in, it's called Charleston. The place that we're in, it was not only us. It was us with other people from different areas in South Africa. Others from Natal, Cape, wherever. So we'll meet there, all of us, and start to know each other. But now the rule there is nobody reveals anybody's name when we are there. Your name is your name. If I know you from South Africa, I should not tell anybody that I know you, except the authorities of the ANC. That's where you get new names. They change you. In Lesotho, when you come in, they give you a new name, but it's temporarily. Then when you come to Zambia, they give you another name, which you are going to use for the duration of you staying in exile. If you have to stay 20 years, you will be staying in exile 20 years with that new name. So you are given a name and a surname. You are given a passport. You get a passport, you get everything registered under a new name so that you can deceive the enemy. And anytime, if they want somebody ofara now where they cannot find him because of igama kuseseyilo. We stayed there for 2 months preparing to go for a military training in Angola. After 2 months, we left Luanda, which is the capital of Zambia, and we left Lusaka, which is the capital of Zambia, and we went to Luanda, capital of Angola. In Angola there, you still go to, they called it a transit camp called Viana. But there, it's a transit camp strictly for people who are going for military training or those who are coming back from military training. So that's where everything transits. If you are going and you're coming back, you get into that camp. But now, most of so language of soldier. Everybody is a military man. We no longer speak about the scholar, you no longer speak about civilian life, it's military life altogether. We started to learn how soldiers will behave. And I remember when Masla country will hear those things of which there's nothing like that. There's absolutely nothing like that. Lapha isibindi sakho esisebenzayo. Yile nto abazokufundisa yona ezokusebenzela ukuthi usurvive whatever abakuthumela ukuthi uyenze. Not plug yotshwala, not plug yensango, not plug yama drugs. So these rumors ukuthi bokubhenya ama drugs, bokubhenya insango, bokuphuza utshwala, that's absolutely nonsense. For that matter, if you are caught outside the camp, wabaleka wena wayephuza utshwala, there's a huge punishment ozoyithola. Serious kakhulu. If ubalekile campini eyotshwala punishment yakhona yes, but if bakuthola ubhema insango, punishment yakhona is more than eyotshwala. Brutal.
Can you share ukuthi punishment yakhona yini?
You see the house of the size of this room where we are. You will dig something like that we want. Umkotonga we want. Bakunike kharaf, bakunike piki. And bakunikeza isikhathi ukuthi fanele ucede isikhathi singakanani.
Okay. I get a sense ukuthi it's you feel ngathi boarding school. It feels like as much as manje you'd see certain documentaries where young white boys bayahamba for military training, bayahambisa somewhere. So it sounds similar to that, and it does feel like you be organized and seems like you were taken care of. Whereas sometimes you tend to think ukuthi impression yokuthi hey bukijima emahlathini kuhlala kuhanjwa maybe lezi zinto lezi ama paperwork bengazicabanga ukuthi bezikhona maybe in terms of for recover right and the moving around. I'm curious in terms of, because I think you've named, is it 4 or 5 countries?
Lesotho, Swaziland, Zimbabwe, Zambia, now Angola.
Okay, 5 countries. Can you share my experiences wakho from each of these countries? Abantu bakhona ukuthi ban receive kanjani? Was it a case ukuthi beni khona uku-interacta nabo or benile kude in all cases? And because it's a normal type of an interview, I'd like to know impression, because you're there namachance at the time, maybe, even though it's a case ukuthi anshira magama, but I'm pretty sure you're excited. There are different types of women from different types of countries. As youth, remember you're going through a certain age of puberty and there are certain interests. As much as you call a number one priority in Ngondweni, I'd like to know in terms of how you were received by the people in those different countries, and as much as ngiyabona sensitive afuna ukuyithinta indaba ye love life, but maybe from observation yakho from abanye ukuthi bokunjani maybe for bona. Was it something like a holiday of some sort that was very memorable? As much as I understand the anger and I understand the seriousness of the situation, but as a certain age group going away and as a group, I'm pretty sure it creates those types of memories. And if there's a memory that you'd like to share, maybe.
Remember, I said it's the mixture of males and females. So, especially when we went to Zambia, we will find that other groups from other areas came with females. Most of the females that were coming in, abantu bebeza nama boyfriend wabo. Like, I mean, Kosas here, angaskipi country, semzabalazweni kune-cherry yami semzabalazweni nayo, siyazabalaza, siyaconvincana, siyaskipi country, samba sithu sifike ngalo. Other situations ukuthi kuba yimi nomfazi wami siparticipate emzabalazweni underground. Icover yethu ibloweke. Ma ibloweke icover yethu fanele sishiye country sibaleke, skipi country, so ngizohamba ngihamba nomfazi wami. Other situations is that bokuyintombazana nje beyimilitant esuke esikolweni nje ihlanya izitshela ukuthi yona ijita lawo esithanda babiza ama tomboy and stuff like that, bavela skipi country intombazana hamba yi-1 abenjalo. But one thing you must know ukuthi in the military life, that is also a society which has all the things that a normal society has. The problem, the difference with that life is that it's a disciplined life. It's very strict. So it means if kuna mantombazana okumele ajolwe azojolwa, but kuzobe kunama condition okumele niphile under wona ukuze mhlawumbe there will be restrictions ukuthi if niyajola asifuni ukunibona nijola. If niyalalana ile ntombazana kufanele ngizolala ecampini, if siyitholile la ecampini nizoface punishment. Yes, so kune area yamantombazana, kune area yabafana. So if umuntu wakho ngale uyicheri uzonyonyoba ngendlela uzonyonyoba ngayo, like a boarding school, uzonyonyoba wena ngendlela uzonyonyoba ngayo, but ama authorities angakutholi. But it is not prohibited ukuthi nijolane. You can jolana whatever nifuna ukuyenza. Problem inkinga yenu leyo, but do not jola ngesikhathi saka commander. If mhlawumbe kulelwe akusenziwa next when you decide ukunyonyoba, but nakhona mawunyonyoba singakutholi uhamba lapha nesigangeni thina ngoba sigadi enemy. If siyakuthola unyonyoba uzosiphazamisa and then sizokudula. So fanele unyonyobe ngendlela right ezokwenza ukuthi ube safe nawe. So sithi ganga but singakubambi.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
And then ama natives experience.
Right. Ama natives, I will tell you different scenarios ama natives. For example, when you go out of the country for the first time as a refugee, you are confined to one place. You are confined to a camp. But there are times, because we have timetables and stuff, times when you are free to go to town, you are free to go and do other things. Masamba siya town siyababona siyazibona intombi. Mawuhlangana nabesuthu laphayana uyashela. Mawushela uzoqonywa. So kuphuma ukuthi uyombona kanjani because ngesikhathi esithile icamp yavalwa. Ukuthi wena uphume kanjani waya lapha nyonyoba waphinda wabuya so indaba yakho leyo asazi nginti. But umthetho uyasho ukuthi ungahambi sakubamba uzothola ipunishment. But obviously la khona umuntu khona kahlala kumanyuva vele, so you'll maneuver. So i-reception besithola especially abasuthu was very, very, very nice. Very, very, very. Let me tell you, these guys, when you meet them in their country and they know what you are from South Africa and they know the purpose why you are there. At that time, the predominant thing was ukuthi abantu beza into their countries are people who are chased by a political situation in South Africa. So they will be very nice to us. They'll be very nice to us. Tina ikamp besikuyo Lesotho was next to a boarding school yamantombazana. So it was it was nice. Those girls would love us. And they knew what abantu abahlala lapha nabantu ababuya kuphi abantu abanjani. They would love us. So we had that relationship back on. That was in Lesotho. Swaziland, we did not stay much. Swaziland, we stayed for hours and left. In Zimbabwe, we did not stay much in Zambia. In Zimbabwe. In Zambia, it was very strict. In Zambia, the only people who have the access to the normal civilians are those already trained guerrillas, commanders, esibathole balapha, who are familiar with the place. Tina were not allowed to go anywhere because it was a risk. It was highly risky. If bakuthola ngaphandle, amabhunu can kill you and do anything with you. So Tina were kept very, 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 very close. If sifuna ukujola mfanele sijolane sodwa thina la, but not outside. But when you go outside to town escorted by the seniors, you will see the environment is friendly. People love you. They've got their own language that they speak, but when they hear you speaking your language, your English, our English is far different from English yamanyama country, as neighbor now. Whereas when you go to Angola, they don't speak English at all. You must learn Portuguese. And then it's Portuguese, you'll end up knowing Portuguese if ufuna ukunyonywa ubuye ngaphandle ube nentombi. Awuna choice fund usifund. So you njengibusho ukuthi besiyintwana intwana zihlala zi-curious. Because that life, much as siye ngale sine anxiety, but we ended up siyijwayele impilo yakhona. Because we had no choice. You think you are more than 20,000 kilometers away from home. Uzohamba kanjani ubuyele ekhaya except for ukuthi uadapt to i-situation okuyo ngaleso sikhathi leso. So you'll adapt to that as long as you're still there. I think isiPortuguese ngisifunde within 3 months. ISwahili ngisifunde within Swahili. It's a Bantu language. It mix language. So a month was enough. A month and a half was enough to learn Swahili. I'm still going to tell you. I also went to Tanzania where I learned Swahili. But le oyikhulumayo reception yabantu bangaphandle, I will say it was absolutely grand. Worse, after you have acquired the training out of the military camp, because after the military training, which lasts for about 6 months, general training, you are deployed in different categories. Others will go and specialize in becoming instructors. Others will be deployed to mhlawumbe to cook for our comrades. Others will be deployed to a medics department, which there will be nurses, and then others, the abafundi will be doctors and stuff like that. It's a society. It's a society with all structures as far as any other normal society. The difference is that lapana, everything goes with the discipline. There will be engineers, there will be topographians, there will be geographians and stuff like that. So after the military, because the hardest part is to acquire a military training, which is the basic 6 months. After that, life will start to become a little bit easier. So was going access to ezinye izinto. But before that, you are strictly confined to the campaign. If you are caught outside the camp, it's either you'll be treated as a sellout or anything else. You cannot breach AMA rules or a campaign because they are security rules. It's strict. There, if you happen to know something about somebody on a campaign and you don't talk about it and somebody discovers what you are in for it. If you see someone doing into wrong against another comrade, you have to report it. If you don't, you are in for it. So we'll have 2 camps. The camps that will train people and stuff, and the next door camp will be the camp that harbors or puts those who came with intention wrong to the camps. Okay. Let me break it kancane. Masilayikhaya siyazabalaza. Amongst us abazabalaza kunalabo abatholwa amabhunu basetshenziswa amabhunu against us. Abasithengisayo but pretend to be ama-comrade amongst us. Wena uhleli nomuntu umsharela yonke information kanti yena ebusuku uyayithatha le information uyoyireporta somewhere une-handler yakhe. Lo muntu uphile naye until ufike ku-level ukuthi uyamtrusta uhambe uye naye exile. Kanti uhamba nomdlwembe uye exile. Mawufika le, because ama-interrogations wase-exile awafani nama-interrogations besiwenza thina la awetha week. But awangali, you are being interrogated by people who have been trained by countries like the Soviet Union, the Germans, your KGBs and stuff like that, who knows intelligence, who know how to grow how to dig information from umuntu. You understand? So as a result, I don't say there were people who were wrongly detained, but there were not people who were wrongly detained. There were people who were wrongly detained, but most of the people who were detained by ANC were people who came there for the purpose of destroying ANC. So we'll have 2 camps. Bese busy Quadro, bese next donati, then Tina Besule camp le training. A Quadro it's a Portuguese language. Quadro it's 4.
Yeah.
So at each ilama prakata 4 angit. So anything in 4, it means without valegekon. So bese busy Quadro. I don't know much about that camp, Good Bogwentagalani. I only know stories because I never went into that camp. I don't even know Wuti Babenzana abantu bakhona.
Can you share a story that you maybe think would be interesting to someone or to the viewers rather? Or is it classified?
Very.
So there's not even one story I share?
No. Okay. No.
All right. Okay, Bisakunma, in terms of abantu, treatment that you got from our natives, I was curious to know, Uguti, okay, from my understanding, I think it seems like it was, they were very welcoming, receptive to your cause and to Nina as Abantu. Was there a certain tissue waitanda maybe lapho somewhere? Or, but I'm hearing Uguti, you're saying Uguti, Amakrumbi, it's been pega nonke inside lapho structure saying it wasn't a case. You think Kuti maybe Ben Puma at some point and enjoy the local cuisine, Portuguese when it comes to fish, they're very big on those things. There's not a single dish kumbula maybe, or Lugudla Benugudla was coming from Abantu Eba Pega Valley, Ugudla was South Africa.
Let me put it like this. Tinkale ngilungisele ye reception.
Yeah.
Yama natives. It was their government's policy to accommodate us. Their government were very nice to us. All the governments of the countries that I've mentioned were pro Umzabalazo, were ANC and other organizations, as long as you will be fighting against apartheid. So their government had that policy, a strict duty. With these ones, they are brothers, we are going to accommodate them. Of course, in the community, there will be people who don't like you, who will be saying, the government destroy Lagabi, why let Hamakwerekwere country. Not who are called Hamakwerekwere.
Oh.
Not who are also Hamakwerekwere. I mean, in Tanzania,
that's very interesting.
They used to call us Abakimbisi. Abakimbisi is someone who ran away from his country.
Yeah.
You understand?
Hey.
In Angola, we were called Hamakwerekwere.
Hey.
In every country that you went to, if you go to a country that is not your country, you'll be called names.
Hey.
So this thing, Mozambique, South Africa, it's not new to us. It's something, you go to America, you'll be called names. You go to Britain today, you'll be called name. You understand? So, you are a foreigner in a country, you must know and accept. Tina, we ended up accepting. Ended up sibizana makwerekwere Tina wait. You understand? But because we knew it's not coming from a bad dieting faith. It's something that people have tend to normalize it with it's an easy way to identify us. You understand? So we will be a makwerekwere and we accept it with some makwerekwere. When it comes to cuisine, you are bound to adapt. You have no choice. Remember, their government supports you. They even give you food, some donation. And if you say when Tinas Nemali, some South African minangila chicken and rice, so you told her chicken and rice because millet dominate Angola fish. So find the fish, uzodli fish, and that person eat the fish. Kune dish babies famous Angola, but Arusha Confejao. It's beans and rice. You see, when you eat beans, brown beans and rice, that's the healthiest food. Now, very healthy. So that was our basic stable food, eat beans and rice. And in Angola, or even if you can ask a Mozambican, beans and rice, that's the best food. On your free time, if you have to go, we have free market and stuff like that, you get that food to eat that food. siyayithenga futhi sibuye ngikwazi nokuyipheka-ke mina. There's no dish I know how to cook a dish yase Angola, yase Tanzania, yase Zambia. I can eat those. I don't have a problem with. So, into njalo.
Okay. Sesoivala, in terms of you being in exile. Remember, the conversation is more about finding about you as a person. We understand the higher calling, yoguti you are there to go train, but it's very important ukuthi sithole i-sense yokuthi i-feeling benjani for nina as people who are there. Sesobuya manje, we're about to leave all these countries. Is there a specific story maybe that you like to share before sihamba, or sesingena vele ku section la sesovala khona sesiyabuya South Africa? However, if there's a story, maybe whether it's a story ukuthi maybe at some point you witnessed an infiltrator and how it happened, or maybe at some point you might have witnessed maybe any story that you feel might be a serious story or a funny story that you like to share with the viewers. If not, sesiyabuya ke manje.
After the Battle of Ikwito-Kwanovala, which was the fight between Namibia, the then Southwest Africa, and Angola. Angola supporting SWAPO, and Southwest Africa instigated by SADF. And then there were Cubans. After that battle, there was a call. One of the conditions, the peace lap, was that the ANC should cease the armed struggle, and Angola should move the camps as the ANC, should close the camps as the ANC. And remember, that time we're still militant, we still have arms with us, and we've got infrastructure, SCS now. But we had to abide by those terms in order to make way for Abantu Base Namibia with Babi Free. We left Angola. Remember, Angola, it's a neighboring state as Namibia. So if we are next to the enemy feels very threatened. So we had to leave Angola and we went to Tanzania and Uganda. Within a short period of time, there were negotiations happening in our country after that settlement as a Namibia. Groteskir negotiations where there was an agreement of the seizure of Yam struggle. Totally disappointed, frustrated, not knowing what to find a sense of journey, but they had to abide by a decision of the higher body.
Disappointed by?
Disappointed by a decision. The armed struggle has to be suspended. Without the consultation, we had to abide by a decision, the ANC. Now the question is, we are going back to that country, Esapeto Amapun. What is our future? There was mixed feelings amongst us, which we'll go back there, speti pamu. Once baqala benza nonsense, siyayisusa futhi. Or sishi pamu, siyasi. So we had to take a decision. But that decision also was taken by the highest authority ANC, which is the highest body, we NEC, and agreed to go into our negotiations. So it means, I'm struggling, it's done. You must go back home. Whatever enemy bona ekhaya, awuyibhunu was ukuthi pelile. So there was an amnesty that was signed to say everybody who left the country to exit. Remember, this cut out Mandela sebephuma, the unbanning of the ANC, the release of political prisoners, the coming back of all the political exiles. We came back during that process. Well, mixed feelings were there, obviously. Abanye bethu were well established. They had families. We had comrades who married foreigners, Angolans, Tanzanians, Ugandans, Zambians, with children with them. And now the question was, how do we bring them back into South Africa and integrate them into the society? So those were the challenges. But we had no choice but to come back with all that anxiety. Remember, we had anxiety siphuma, sesine-anxiety manje yokubuya, with how will be the situation. You left home sesemncane, ubuya soyingodunyana, you must provide for ekhaya. People ekhaya will be expecting something from you, and you've got nothing. So that was the situation.
Okay, so uhambe at the age 15, am I correct?
Yes.
You're coming back at what age?
21.
21. Okay, so you know, at times there's a certain feeling that you get, us as people, when it comes to our goodbyes. Sometimes we don't like goodbyes because they are very emotional, especially if it takes a certain chunk of impilo yakho. You can use an example yokuthi maybe primary school, the last day of primary school when you have to say goodbye to your friends, senior high school manje it's a different, uzakuhlangana nabantu aba different, not unless niyaku the same high school nabanye, but abanye you will be seeing them for the last time possibly. Same situation naku high school, same situation asithi noma ungene university or a college. There's a certain final goodbye, or whether even it's a case ukuthi niyahamba on a trip, asithi nivakashe somewhere, but manje you have to say goodbye to this experience. I'm trying to get a feeling yakho at the time. How were you feeling? Is there a certain, the first feeling was manhamba. There was that excitement. In the same time, there was fear of some sort. Ukuthi niyahamba nishiye ekhaya. Manje, it's reversed. It's a couple of years later. You have to come back manje as ama young adults. Obviously, law my responsibilities akhona ke ukuthi maybe babheke something in terms of now as a young man and supporting a household yakho. But what is the feeling? Is the final goodbye in terms of indawo or in terms of our comrades? Can we get a sense of feeling in terms of how was it? Was it a relief ukuthi ay sengibuyele ekhaya, or was it a case ukuthi it's too soon, as much as ushilo ukuthi you were disappointed by the decision by the NEC? But personally, how was the feeling? Because I'm pretty sure at a young age, you know, when you are moving around and you ubona umhlaba, and now you have to go back to what you're used to. Can you just share your feeling yakhona?
Mixed feelings. One, you are used to any environment. A different environment, a different language, a different lifestyle. A mixture of both social life and military life, but all controlled by certain authority. We are used to authority. And the Atlabanga manje are going back, expecting to say to the same kind of a situation. It's a relief because you are going back home. But it's a problem because you're still going back home to a country where you haven't achieved the total liberation. So you've got that thing, are we still going to fight Masfigo or Sophia environment a conducive ukuthi kube right? Is this what we fought for? I'm still young, I'm still 21, and my mind is sakijim. Angakhathali ukuzabalaza. I still have that energy ukuthi we can take the boas. But now here are this thing. The negotiation settlement it siyabuya ekhaya. Sese right. I need to adapt to that. I need to channel my mindset to say, le militants ubunayo, onayo, mayichinje manje ikwazi ukuthi ibuyele ekhaya uyo integrate in the society in a peaceful manner. So the expectations are ukuthi uyofika kwi-country enjani, uyofika uthole reception enjani. Are you still enemies with the people you were enemies with before you left the country? And but at the end of it all is that our mission was to go take up arms and come back home. We're not going to stay there forever. We knew that one day something will happen. One day we'll go back home. Obviously, the only thing we is to take the government by force, take the government against BAM. But there are older people who have got much more experience in politics than you, who know what the negotiation settlement is the best settlement that will prevent us from going into a civil war. And still get, if we go through negotiation, we'll still get the infrastructure intact and build East South Africa from what it is to a better height. But if we go there by arms, fight everybody, fight every white person, everybody and destroy infrastructure, it means after liberation we'll have to start afresh and be example amanyama country ahlulekile after liberation. So we did not want, the ANC did not want a situation whereby we'll go back to a country where civil war will start again and destroy infrastructure that was built ngamandla wabobaba bethu. So we had to go there, compromise, most compromise, for the sake of the South African community, not for the sake of us, but for the sake of saving the people, to say, we want to save this infrastructure, we want to save what we have and take it and build it from what it is, not destroy it.
Okay. I'm curious to find out ukuthi around these times angithi phela izinto ezifana nama-WhatsApp nama-cellphone bezingekho. And it's been 6 years. Was there any form of communication ne-family, or it was completely blacked out? Did they know ukuthi ukuphi maybe, or it was a case ukuthi manje uyabuya kuzoba a surprise mawubuya?
No communication, nothing.
No letter, no landline?
No.
For 6 years?
For 6 years.
Okay. So seseyabuya ke manje sibuya ngani? How's the journey coming back? Is it the same situation ukuthi nibuya ngama taxi futhi, and then buya from which country perhaps? Can you just take us nje?
No, our repatriation, I repatriated from Tanzania. Our repatriation was sponsored by both the United Nations and the South African government at that time. So we were brought back by planes from Tanzania straight to Johannesburg Airport.
Was it the first time you plane?
No, when I was in exile, I was a plane all the time. I started to Kibeli plane when I was in Lesotho. My first time Kibeli plane, I was in Lesotho. That was in 1986. From Lesotho to Swaziland, it was a plane. From Swaziland to Zambia, to Zimbabwe, it was a plane. From Zambia to Angola, it was a plane. And I also made some further military trainings in Germany, which was a plane. I went to Yugoslavia, which was a plane. So he plane besibi is with integi, but we taxi it. So he plane it was bogo amanza amancane.
All right.
Usokola manje ekhaya ukugibela plane, but le bogo amanza amancane.
Okay. So lendile ke perhaps, or by the time angithi niyapheka manje sekuyisikhathi sokubuyela emuva, this is the day, there are goodbyes. If there are goodbyes, there are maybe people who stay in that country that you knew. Maybe, I don't know if you said your goodbyes or decided to disappear that day. I'm trying to get that sense. Khona ama goodbyes washilo lapho, or did you cry?
Phela besijola, phela besinabantu bethu.
Yeah.
Besibhizi, besuku society grand, siphethwe kahle.
Uthini, because akuna cell number ozoyithatha to stay in contact.
Unfortunately.
What do you say? Because
you live. When I left it, I had a phone, ekhaya phone. So I knew phone number sekhaya. Behleli khona engqondweni. So I left umuntu wami the phone number, and those that I knew ngabashiyana ama number ne address in case bayangifuna. And I took the addresses and stuff. There were some of us who had abafazi from Ghana. People married, left there, nabafazi nabantwana. Yithi nje lawo sesebancane bengenabafazi bengenabantwana, because besagala abantu ngaleso sikhathi leso. But it was bad. It was sashiya abantu bekhala blind ayikancane. The other thing was that for us being there in their situation was relieving somehow kubo, because the supply besithola a better supply than our citizens were on in terms of food, clothing and stuff like that, and we could share nabo labantu laba. So us being there present with them, it was a blessing in disguise for them, because they knew we had hospitals there. We had clinics, we had logistics, we had all those things. We had farms, we had cows, we had everything. So they were benefiting from us being there in their country. So whoever villages that were nearby us were benefiting. So us living there was painful for them.
Okay, so akunakhumbula ekhaya yase exile izofika ukokota la endlini.
I don't think so. No, I don't think so. But the other thing engikhohle ukuyisho man, which is very painful, is that we left comrades abashona they move. We left graves, we left, because in the camp where I was training, we had serious battles with the enemy, serious battles with the then UNITA rebels that were fighting against the Angolan government, which they were comrades who died there, and we buried them there. But there is a process of repatriating them, which is conducted by Department of Military Veterans, which is, I think it's slowly getting there to repatriate all the comrades which we left. May their soul rest in peace. Ukuthi nababuye bazekhaya bazothola a dignified funeral.
Okay. So first day ke uyafika uyakokota wenza njani masofika ekhaya? Haven't seen you in 6 years.
Mina ngibuye ngoMay.
I'd use an example yokuthi sometimes angithi abantu, there's a person that I knew wahamba waya a city ejele for something like 20 years. Makabuya ubuya sakathola iphosphorus kunama public swimming pool sokuneyidrata sokunama mall elokishini. I can only imagine sense eyokubona yonke lento le yenzakala. So now you've left for 6 years. Angazi if there's much change yenzakele in terms of South Africa, but bengifuna nje ku-add leyo feeling leyo ukubona ukuthi bokuyini sense.
A lot have changed. When you came back, we told ukuthi, for example, mina angithi ngise-Force Lorus. So in area like abo spray tube bezingekho that time ngihamba. I-entrance ukusuka ku-freeway beyingekho. So uyabuya uthola kune off-ramp yase-Goldsport, kune off-ramp yase-Springview, which was into eyasithusa, one of the excitement ebezikhona. But fortunately, I knew home. I knew indlela ekhaya, and nothing has changed. Mangifike ekhaya, and ngathola abazali bengekho that day. There was nobody was expecting ukuthi nyeza. But after mangiceda ukufika, the first thing we did, we phoned the old lady belisemsebenzini. La chaya semsebenzini. Ngafika mina ngiyi-15 zika May, which was my birthday. Leza liphethe ikhekhe for the birthday old lady. I remember ahlike eteksini eza straight egijima ngithi nyomhaga kwawa kwalelo khekhe lelo beke ngiphethele lona. Phala bestratini. But it was excitement. It was exciting. It was fun. It was okay. It was nice to be home. And the reception that I got from the community in Kule Panzwayo and my comrades, it was overwhelming. Nabantu engihamba ngizwana nabo, at least ngabathola abanye. It was nice. It was good. It was good. It was a very good arrival, reception, and reunion.
Okay. As a man who's put his life on the line for a country, and then you come back, obviously you saw everything that was going on. It's a new South Africa, excitement, Rainbow Nation. There's a certain positivity and there's a certain sense of peace in the air where I'd like to say, Wuti, the Black Nation forgave abantu bangacelanga forgiveness. I don't know if I'm framing it right. From then to now, what are your thoughts in terms of, is this what we expect in South Africa? Is it where you believe it should be? If not, what are your thoughts now?
Definitely, it is not where we're expecting it to be. But one thing you must know, Gutin, not all your expectations will be achieved in life. But the achievements that the government has made are tremendous. For me, to be sitting here, owning my own house, having a family, it's very jubilant. For me, I've got a company that I'm owning. To own a company at this time, it's exciting for people to have opportunities to have RDP houses, for people to have opportunities to can venture into businesses where they were restricted. It's a great achievement. For us to have a say and go and vote for whoever we want to vote for. If we don't want the ANC, we can always say we don't want it and vote for someone else that we want. It's a great achievement. Our government has worked. Honestly, it has worked. It's just that we as South Africans expect too much. But the other thing that I want to emphasize mostly is that when we were in the struggle, it was the very few of us who were in the struggle. We were less than 20,000 that were in the struggle, or less than 30,000, to liberate more than, at that time, it was 35 million people. And I don't know if people recognize ukuthi 10,000 or 20,000 people liberating more than 35 million utasi achievement man naleyo. But obviously human beings are human beings. They will never be satisfied. They will always have an excuse or a reason to blame wherever. But I want to tell you something. Nowhere in Africa do you see a development as far as South Africa. Nowhere. And not only in Africa, I've traveled some countries outside Africa. We are far with the development than any other countries. There are many countries. Take Portugal, for example. They colonize our countries next to us. So we must not undermine and take it as if ANC or the government of the day did nothing. They did a lot. They did a lot. In 30 years' time, to achieve what they've achieved, it's a miracle. Amapune have been here for 300 years, suppressed us for 300 years, achieved whatever they've achieved in the period of 300 years. And it is not going to take us 30 years to redress all those issues. But in as much as the government is slow because the government does not want to I don't know how to put it, but does not want to do these changes clumsily. That is why there are acts, there's a constitution in the country that we must follow in order for us to redress the inequalities of the past.
Okay. I'd like to believe that you're a patriot. You're patriotic in terms of uthanda country yakho. Looking at 15-year-olds today, compared to when you were 15 years, what are your thoughts in terms of youth here today? Mawibhekile. Youth.
I think we were too harsh with yethu thina njengabasibadala, because we think ukuthi lento le behavior besi behavior thina be right than le aba behavior manje, forgetting ukuthi not we had parents who were complaining about us. It's just that level ye development or ye technology beyingafani naleyo khona namhlanje. Besistoti ngendlela yethu nathi ebeyingatholerate abazali bethu, in as much as nathi singatholerate ubustoti be youth yethu namhlanje. I think over and above this, it is up to us to either make it a point ukuthi abantwana bethu siba open nabo, sihlala nabo phansi, siyababonisa ukuthi into oyenzayo inama consequence afana nalawo, unlike ukuthi sivele siba judge, siba sideline, siba crush without us giving the advice right kubo. I think it is also our responsibility. Remember, Tina, we are a new nation which comes from a brutal situation. Tina asikhulanga njengalabantwana. So we cannot expect labantwana ukuthi bazokhula ngendlela besikhule ngayo thina. Thina sikhule everything besiyenza be defensive. Be defensive mawuhlangana nomuntu estradini uba defensive ngayo yonke indlela. So these kids namhlanje ba open to everything. So let us adapt to the situation yabo. Let us adapt to the environment yabo, and sikwazi so that sizokwazi ukuba thipa ngendlela right yokuthi baphile ngayo. I don't think they're out of order kangako. They are, yes, as abantwana abancane. But in reality, it is also our responsibility as parents to say, as in, ngiyak understanda, phela kunama YouTubes manje, kunama Facebook, kunama TikTok, all of those things. Bathole influence lapho labantu. Thina influence yethu besithole esigangeni, sithole ibhamini, sithola emmeseni sigwazana senzani. Let us know ukuthi manje influence iza nge-direction wrong. Let's adapt to le influence abayitholayo, and so that masibakhuze ngendlela yale influence abayitholayo.
Okay. Second last question. As Ikwerekwere at the time, what is your view in terms of what's going on right now with whether it's legal or illegal foreign nationals? from an honest point of view, from, let's say, how you were accepted in their countries to manje say reversile, because you have more of your age group has the experience of being foreigners in another country, whereas a majority of youth manje go South Africa, I don't think they have that experience. They just know ukuthi la is home and home is home. So manje the situation is reversed. At some point benidinga ukuba accommodated by bona in terms of visitation or staying in their countries. Manje the situation has turned around and it's the other way around. What is your thoughts in terms of what is going on with foreign nationals, whether legal or illegal, especially from Africa, like South Africa? Briefly.
Remember, Uti, when we were in those countries, we lived by umthetho. We abide by the laws of those countries. Anything that we did, anything that we achieved, any accommodation that we had, it was according to the laws of those countries. There's nothing, for example, we never sold drugs, we never established shebeens, we never made businesses there because we went there with the sole purpose of a political asylum. It is wrong for foreign nationals to come here illegally and participate in illegal activities and not abide by the law as South Africa. We were there, yes, some of the countries helped us. And not all African countries helped us, I must emphasize that. There were countries who were rejecting us like nobody's business, like your Nigeria. Nigeria never helped us in our struggle against the apartheid. Instead, they were aligning themselves with the Americans, which were supporting the apartheid. So you cannot have a situation where we are blackmailed by a Nigerian to say, when you were struggling, our country was supporting you. There's nothing like that. Not all African countries supported us when we were struggling. Others rejected us like nobody's business, like I'm saying. So it is wrong for foreign nationals to come here, seek accommodation, seek reception, and at the end of the day, do wrong things, unlawful things. It is wrong.
Okay. Last question. In your lifetime, you went from a very young age and you went to different countries, you traveled the continent for a purpose. It might have started as peer pressure, but at some point it was seen as a major sacrifice, I'd like to believe, from our citizens of South Africa. If you were to be in that situation again, if we were to rewind to that night, la buhamba khona, would you do it all again, all over again? Or would you have stayed behind and maybe tried a different path? Bongayiphinda na?
Yes, bengayiphinda differently, kodwa. Differently because of my age, number one. I can still participate in Mzabalazo and contribute in a different way. Obviously not to go for a military training. But if there's a need for a military training, I will make it a point that I participate, recruit, and make sure that that military training is obtained by other people other than myself.
So you'll do it again?
I will.
In closing, any last words of wisdom, maybe mabangati nasi stage awokhulume nama South Africans, bongathanda ukuthini?
What I like to say, na inkululeko siyitholile. Let us make use of le nkululeko siyitholile. Let us make use of ama opportunities akhona eswanikwayo. In the whole world, there is no constitution with democracy efana as South Africa. So for us to sit back and criticize always, it is not okay. But let us stand up, participate, make sure that we get into the structures that will develop us as a country, as a nation, as individuals, and stop pointing fingers at all. We cannot all be politicians. It's not possible. But we can be activists, all of us. We can be activists in different fields, socially, in human rights, and all of that. But what is important is that sitting back and pointing fingers and pretend to be a politician when we are not it's not right. Let us stand up and make anything that is possible for us to survive and build our country in a positive way.